marks at the crash site.
Oh, yes, that detail. You're like,
Right.
That immediately makes you wonder if it was truly an accident or something more deliberate.
Right.
It plants a seed of doubt that colors everything that follows.
Totally. And then there's Jeremy Verity's husband.
Right.
He's the one who hires Lowen, asking her to move into this already creepy house to sift through Verity's notes and kind of salvage this book series.
Right.
Welcome to Witter. Who Has Time to Read? The podcast that brings deep dives for busy minds. Listen to AI hosts Jane and Dane and get ready to unpack the world's most captivating books in just a fraction of the time. Whether commuting, working out, or just squeezing in a quick break, we deliver key insights, thought-provoking themes, and takeaways you can carry into your day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Plus, use our links in the description to purchase this book. Your support helps us bring more engaging book discussions to you. Listen and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Who has time to read? You do, with Witter.
Okay, so are you ready to dive into Verity?
Oh, absolutely. I've been looking forward to this one.
Yeah, you guys gave us quite the twisted tale to untangle with this one this week. Colleen Hoover, she knows how to write a psychological thriller.
She really does.
That keeps you hooked the whole way through.
Definitely.
And this one is especially clever, I think, because she takes kind of a classic setting, you know, that creepy old house.
Yes.
And really uses it to reflect what's going on inside with the characters.
It's true. And it's not just creepy. It's like the house itself becomes a character, right?
Yes.
We're talking secluded Vermont.
Yes. Unsettling vibes. More secrets than rooms.
Yes.
Did you get that haunted house, but not actually haunted kind of feeling?
Exactly. And that's what I wrote down. It's a brilliant use of the Gothic tradition. We're not dealing with ghosts here. But the house embodies all those anxieties, those hidden truths that the characters are grappling with.
Which brings us to Lowen, our protagonist. She's a struggling writer in New York, offered a chance to complete this book series by a renowned author who is, shall we say, indisposed.
Indisposed might be an understatement. Verity, the author in question, is supposedly severely injured after a horrific car accident.
Right, and that's where the mystery really starts to simmer, I think, because the accident itself, even just like the description of it, is shrouded in these unsettling details.
Right.
Do you remember when it's mentioned that there are no skid marks at the crash site?
Oh, yes, that detail. You're like,
Right.
That immediately makes you wonder if it was truly an accident or something more deliberate.
Right.
It plants a seed of doubt that colors everything that follows.
Totally. And then there's Jeremy Verity's husband.
Right.
He's the one who hires Lowen, asking her to move into this already creepy house to sift through Verity's notes and kind of salvage this book series.
Right. And his grief over Verity's condition and the earlier loss of their daughters is palpable. But there's also this undercurrent of desperation and need to cling to anything that reminds him of his wife.
And that makes Lowen's arrival even more complicated, right?
Yeah.
Because she's vulnerable. She's dealing with her own grief after their mother's death. Do you remember that line where she admits she came to New York to hide?
Yes. It speaks volumes about her state of mind. She's dealing with financial strain, feeling insecure about her writing, and now she's stepping into this pressure cooker of a situation.
Totally. And things get really interesting when Lowen stumbles upon Verity's autobiography, this hidden manuscript that is packed with unsettling revelations.
Oh, yes.
And that's where I think we should leave it for now with part one.
This manuscript, it's like a keyhole into Verity's darkest thoughts. It's raw, it's unsettling, and it completely shatters the image of the successful author we think we know.
Right. It's almost like reading about two different people.
Totally.
On the one hand, there's the Verity who wrote these best-selling novels, but then the autobiography reveals this much darker side.
Absolutely. And Hoover doesn't shy away from the difficult topics. Verity's confessions about her marriage, her feelings toward her children, even her own writing process, it's all laid bare in a way that makes you question everything.
Yeah, and you brought up the parallels between Lowen and Verity earlier.
Yes.
Now that we're kind of deep into the secrets of this manuscript, did you get a stronger sense of that two sides of the same coin idea?
Oh, definitely. Think about it. Both Lowen and Verity are writers, both struggling with insecurity and a deep desire for validation. They're drawn to the same man, seeking his approval, his gaze.
It's like they're both trying to fill a void in their own lives, but are using Jeremy as the answer.
Yeah.
And that makes his character all the more intriguing, don't you think?
Absolutely. Jeremy is the enigma at the heart of this story. He's this grieving husband, a single father doing his best. Yet there's this undeniable magnetism about him that both Lowen and Verity are drawn to.
Right, and he's caught between these two women, each representing different aspects of his life. The grief of the past with Verity, and then the possibility of a future with Lowen. What did you make of his reaction to finding out that Lowen had read Verity's manuscript?
Oh, it was fascinating, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He went from being angry and protective of his wife to suddenly very interested in Lowen's interpretation of Verity's words. It's almost as if a switch flipped.
It made me question his motives even more.
Yeah.
Is he truly concerned about Lowen uncovering these painful truths, or is he worried about his own secrets coming to light?
And that's the brilliance of Hoover's writing. She constantly keeps us guessing about Jeremy's true intentions. Is he a good man caught in a tragic situation, or is there something darker lurking beneath the surface?
Right. And as if this whole situation wasn't complicated enough, we have the unsettling details about the deaths of Verity's daughter.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Did you find yourself going back and forth on whether it was an accident or something more sinister?
Oh, absolutely. The ambiguity is intentional. Hoover wants us to question everything, to consider the darkest possibilities, even if they make us uncomfortable.
It's like she's holding up a mirror to our own fascination with the macabre. Like, we can't look away even when the truth is unsettling. But then just as we think we're starting to understand Verity, there's that shocking moment where Lowen finds her seemingly conscious and moving. It's like the rug is pulled out from under us.
Right.
One minute we're reading about Verity being completely incapacitated, and the next she's seemingly moving around the house.
Right.
It's a real turning point in the story.
Absolutely. And the way Lowen reacts, grabbing that knife, convinced that Verity has been playing this cruel game this whole time.
Yeah.
It shows us just how deep her suspicions run.
And really highlights, I think, how unreliable of a narrator she might be.
Yes.
You know, she's already vulnerable, dealing with her own issues, and now no wonder she jumps to these terrifying conclusions.
Right. But then that relief, when Jeremy explains it was just an involuntary muscle spasm, a common occurrence, given Verity's injuries. Hoover creates such a roller coaster of emotions in that scene.
Oh my gosh, you're telling me. I think I held my breath for a good minute there.
Yeah.
But then, of course, Verity dies shortly after.
She does.
Did you find yourself feeling sorry for her at all, even after everything that had happened?
It's a difficult question, isn't it?
Yeah.
On the one hand, Verity's confessions in the autobiography paint her as this deeply troubled, even monstrous individual. But on the other hand, she's also a victim of her own mind, her own desires.
Yeah, it's that complexity, I think, that makes this story so compelling.
Yeah.
There are no easy answers. There are no clear-cut heroes or villains.
Right.
And just when we think we've reached the end, we get that final twist. The letter.
Oh, the letter, yes.
Changes everything.
It does. It really does. It throws everything we thought we knew into question.
Was she telling the truth?
Right.
Was the autobiography all a lie?
Right. Was this letter just another manipulation, a way to control the narrative, even in death?
Exactly. It's like she leaves us with more questions than answers.
She does.
It forces us to confront the idea that sometimes the most unsettling truths are the ones that we tell ourselves.
That's right.
So after this depth dive into Verity, after all the twists and turns and the unreliable narrators and shocking revelations, what are we left with? What do you think?
Yeah, it really makes you think.
Do we believe everything we read, or are some truths better left buried? We'll leave you with that thought-provoking question. Until next time on The Deep Dive, happy reading.
Thanks for listening to Witter, Who Has Time to Read? Produced by One Media. Please support the author by purchasing the book or audiobook using the link in the description. It's a great way to help keep the art of writing alive. And stay in the loop. Subscribe to our newsletter for updates on weekly deep dives. And don't forget to share your thoughts or suggest our next deep dive at witterpodcast@gmail.com.